So today we're going to show you the South Meadows neighborhoods of Reno, Nevada, which to me is one of the best possible locations to live in all of Northern Nevada. And just a short 30 years ago, everything we're going to show you today and almost everything you see out here wasn't even here. So whether you're interested in the slightly older section known as Double Diamond, or if you head just a little further south into Damonte Ranch or Curti Ranch, this area has grown very much into a very desirable neighborhood known for its balance of modern amenities and natural beauty. And with all the activities and steady growth, the South Meadows offers a lifestyle that many are seeking. So missing out on this neighborhood means overlooking one of the best parts of Reno. And believe it or not, with many different price points ranging from the mid 300s all the way to $2 million, almost anyone can afford to live in the South Meadows. So whether you're looking for a small condo, a 55 and over community, or maybe a luxury or brand new home, the South Meadows has it all. So let's go take a closer look and we're going to show you all things you need to know about the South Meadows. If you're enjoying the kind of content we're putting out there on a weekly basis, please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, make some comments. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are on what we're talking about, all things living in Reno, Tahoe. So we want to tell you a little bit where Double Diamond, Damonte Ranch, Curti Ranch, the South Meadows area actually is. So the freeway, which is a little ways away from here now, if you're coming down 580 or 395, it's basically the same highway. You can kind of get off on two exits. You've got the South Meadows Parkway exit and the Damonte Ranch Parkway exit, and both of those come off the freeway. And if you go to the left, that first exit, South Meadows Parkway, takes you right down. You're kind of in the old school Double Diamond side. Everything to the west side is going to be commercial buildings. This is where the gym that I go to is, where IGT and a bunch of other commercial buildings are. But as you go a little further down, and you're going to pass some apartment buildings, some condo complexes, we're going to talk about all that a little bit later as well. You'll see grocery stores, commercial stuff, and that's when you start to get into more of the residential neighborhood. And that side, when it was first built, when I bought my first house in 1997 in Double Diamond, used to get off right there, and there was literally no traffic lights all the way to Double Diamond Parkway. And now there's lights everywhere, and it goes a lot of different directions. But if you take that all the way, it goes to what's called Veterans Parkway. If you took Veterans Parkway to the left, you're going to go towards Sparks or Hidden Valley. But if you go to the right, you're going to cut through the back side of Double Diamond where that road didn't used to be there now. So it's been kind of a nice place for people to live in that Double Diamond Damonte area that can now work in Sparks or off USA Parkway and cut through the back way rather than getting on the freeway and the Spaghetti Bowl. Now, if you take the freeway a little further and you get off on Damonte Ranch Parkway, that's where you're going to get off, and eventually it's going to lead you right into what's going to be called downtown Damonte. And it's going to be a really cool thing. There's nothing to show you there yet because they're in construction. They've got it all blocked off. But as you turn there, then there's the Damonte Ranch side, shopping, restaurants. We'll show you some of that later as well. And then a bunch of home neighborhoods. And no matter where you go through this area, from the outside, you're going to see lots of stucco, tile roofs, relatively small lots. And like we talked about price point wise, you can find condos as inexpensive as the mid, low 300s, all the way up to finding luxury and high property dollar value homes that are going to be close to $2 million. But where we are right now, I'm going to move out of the way and have City move you a little forward with the camera and show you. We are basically right here in the back of Damonte Ranch High School. So anyone who lives in all of Double Diamond and Damonte Ranch is going to go to this high school. There's also on the Double Diamond side what's called DePoli Middle School, which is a brand new school. And then you've got multiple elementary schools down here, whether it's Poliquitas, which literally I think just started their second year of being open, and Double Diamond Elementary. But from here, even if you live all the way in the back part of Damonte Ranch, to get to the ski resorts, to get up to Mount Rose Ski Resort from back here is maybe 30, 35 minutes away. So if you're someone who's a skier or wants to live in these areas, it is not too far to go. And then the other thing about all these areas back here is everything is relatively new. You can buy brand new, or the oldest houses you can find on the Double Diamond side are going to be in that mid kind of to late 90s. So, you know, the downsides would be if someone's looking for a really big lot, or if you're looking to have like RV access or detached garage or an outbuilding, these are not the neighborhoods for you. But for someone who's looking for new amenities, new schools, new shopping, everything, like I said, 30 years or newer, these are the neighborhoods and the parts of town that you want to be in. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you around to some of the shopping. We're going to show you some of the neighborhoods and some of the other schools and let you kind of see what it feels like to live in these areas. And again, 30 years ago, I bought my first house down here. There wasn't but 100 homes down here. And from here now, you can very conveniently get to almost all the other parts of town. And on a Friday night here coming soon as high school starts, this place will be full of students and parents watching high school football. Damonte Ranch High School is basically tucked in the far back sections of the Damonte Ranch side of the South Meadows. And again, anyone who lives in all of the South Meadows, this is typically where they go to high school. This high school now is probably about 15, maybe getting close to 20 years old. It's obviously in a really quiet, private place, and it is massive. You can see between the baseball fields, the softball fields, the tennis courts, the outdoor, the football field. And just in the background behind it, you'll see another building there, and that is the church. So there's a big church for those of you that want to live back here and use those facilities as well. But once you get back behind us up on this hill, it's because they're view lots back towards the city. We're looking kind of west at the moment. Then a lot of those properties are going to be higher priced because they got views, and a lot of stuff up on the hill is a lot bigger. So stuff back here, you can see upwards of $1 million to $1.5 million, depending on how many square feet and those kind of things that you're seeing on these buildings. But again, from the outside, a lot of these homes are not going to look that different. It's just based upon the size, the square footage, and then honestly on the inside, how upgraded a lot of these are and if they have any views. Most of the South Meadows does not have a ton of views, but these houses up on the hill absolutely do. So Carmela Ranch is honestly the highest price, highest end 55 plus community back here. And it runs a long way. Toll Brothers did a great job of building quite a few 55 and over communities. There's going to be multiple properties as we come back here a little bit further. There's Regency at Carmela Ranch. There's a few others back here. They're all gated. They're all multiple homeowners associations. So for those of you that don't want homeowner associations, it's going to be tough in all of the South Meadows. But for those of you that are for looking those kind of things, you can see as we're going to get here in just a second, there's still lots of construction going on. So you're going to see this kind of stuff. Oh, darn. Sorry about that. It got all over my car. Did you know it was wet right there? Well, we got sprayed on a nice hot blue deserty day. That's pretty funny. There's like no water anywhere. And we just got spritzed.
We live in the
we live in the desert anyway.
Through the one puddle.
Exactly. So anyway, you'll see lots like this all over the place that are new construction. And so depending on where they are and what eventually ends up here, some of these will have views, some of these do not. If we look on the other side of the street, then you're going to see Copper View at Carmela Ranch. So again, there's just lots of different options, lots of different communities in here. So we'll take a little turn in here and let you know what you think. All right, so this gives you kind of an idea of what you can expect to see on the exteriors. And you can see there's still lots of construction going on, lots of new properties. Most of this stuff is relatively new. I don't think there's anything back here that's more than 10 years old. But again, on the outsides, they're set up very similar to the rest of the area. There's a little more wood and some brick trying to make things look a little more custom. But if you notice in here, they're all going to be one level. A lot of them are going to be 2 bedrooms, and they're really set up for people that are, not having kids live at home anymore, and to make it so that, one, if you're coming here, especially from out of state, possibly it's a great way to meet lots of new people, get to do lots of activities out here, because a lot of these places have pools and pickleball courts and all kinds of event schedules going on. So we're just trying to give you a little idea of what you can expect to see from the outside. Now, depending on how big or how small, you can find some 55 and over properties that are under $1 million, some stuff in the 7s and 800s. There's another subdivision a little closer into the heart of Double Diamond and Damonte. But out here, most of these are going to be pushing $1 million or more, depending again on how big they are. But you can see as we drive through here, still lots of brand new construction going on. So you can find one that's brand new. You can find some that are existing. So depending on what your time frames are, or if you would like to pick some of your features or not, you can see all kinds of different stuff going on around here. So the one thing I also love about the South Meadows and Damonte Ranch and all this area is all the areas are landscaped. So you have great walking paths and walking trails. There's miles and miles of walking trails, but all the common areas are landscaped. All the neighborhoods have their own specific names and entries. Like I said, a lot of gated over here. And again, now where we just were, this is the original gate here, the Regency at Carmela Ranch. So again, this is your main access points. So we came in through the backside where they're doing construction right now. But again, all these areas, this is part of what the HOA fees cover and all that, is the fact that everything's going to be landscaped and maintained. You'll see later when we're other parts of this area, the trees and the bushes and shrubs will be a lot bigger, taller, more expansive because they've been there a lot longer. And if you can see in the distance, you can see up on the mountain, there's the ski runs for Mount Rose Ski Resort. And again, from here, you're looking at about a 25-minute drive. So if you are a season pass holder, you can be up there relatively quickly, especially go during the week. There's not a lot of people up there during weekdays. And it's just a nice, easy way to get there and get access as we're on now Western Skies Boulevard that leads you into a neighborhood that's really sort of outside of the South Meadows. It's more Curti Ranch. We're gonna take a quick drive through Curti Ranch, which technically sort of gets outside of the South Meadows, but it's right on the edge, so we want to include that as we're talking about all things in the south part of Reno. All right, so we are now in Curti Ranch, which is on the far kind of east and southern side of this whole South Meadows area. This particular area is slightly different than the rest of the South Meadows. You can see in here, there's not sidewalks on the main drag, but you can see how much bigger and taller the landscaping got real quickly. Of course, walking trails and walking paths over here on the left-hand side. But as we take a turn in this neighborhood, here's where you're gonna see the biggest difference is that these houses are, again, not your traditional sidewalks. It's got the walking paths and walking trails there. And they all have paver patios or paver driveways and other amenities like that. So it's a little bit slightly, at the time when they built them, it was considered to be a little more upscale than the rest of Double Diamond and Damonte, but the problem was a lot of these homes got built right in that 2003, 4, 5 through 2010 timeframe, of course, which ended up being the worst time to build homes in our area because the economy crashed and the market fell apart. So a lot of these homes turned over back in those days. There was lots of short sales and foreclosures back at that time frame. But again, what's nice is there's this one loop through on either side. And then what happens is you have like this, big tall trees now, paver driveways, a little more elevated, upgraded feel than some of these others. But again, like here's someone who has their RV out that likely is just getting it ready for the weekend, but he cannot leave that there full time. So it's one of those where if you're looking for some sort of full-time access to that, it is a problem for you. And I don't know if you can see in the video right now, but one other thing that happens in all of this area, and part of the reason why the high school is called the Damonte Ranch Mustangs, is that when the weather gets colder, you will literally get horses walking through these neighborhoods. I've had it literally standing in my driveway since, as you guys know, I live in the South Meadows and I live in Damonte Ranch. And so you'll see that down here. You'll see it on the ground over here. The horses will walk through these neighborhoods. And again, a little bit different feel from the rest of it. And Curti Ranch is technically, I don't think people think of as in the South Meadows, but it adjoins right to it. It is getting more and more connected as they're building it out. So we just wanted to give you a quick peek of what that looks like. And again, you can find homes in here. There are a lot of them are pretty big, but everything in here typically is under $1 million. You're gonna be anywhere between 600,000, let's say, and 900,000, depending on the size, the condition, the upgrades. And again, because of the age, you have to look at these real closely based upon have they had any upgrades and features, because you know things start to wear out once you get 20 plus years. And we just want to make sure that if you're looking in these neighborhoods that we make a smart purchasing decision. If you're someone who's thinking about moving to Northern Nevada and wants to find out more information on how you can start your journey on the path to home ownership, click the link in the description below. We have our buyer's guide that will tell you all the things you know to get this process started, especially with all the new laws and everything that's in place. You're going to want to make sure you have great representation. So click the link, get the buyer's guide, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, so you're going to see these big rocks like that all over Damonte Ranch and Double Diamond that tells you kind of where you are. You'll see here there's a big sign talks about all the specific different neighborhoods and specific different builders. And again, trees get a little taller, sidewalks in this part of it, not like you saw in Curti Ranch. And if we literally just went straight for less, just under a mile, you would be right back at the front of Damonte Ranch High School. So on the left, we have some big condos or detached homes. Over here, you've got attached, they look like duplex buildings, but each unit is sold separately. And again, as you come through here, there's going to be these big drainage areas. And each one of these neighborhoods is going to, you're going to see these big rocks. This one says Casabella. Nobody ever really talks about them in the, at least not from my experience, in the name of what's on those rocks. But you see them more and more just talking about if you're in Damonte Ranch versus Double Diamond. Again, just coming up on the left-hand side is that brand new elementary school that we mentioned earlier, Polakitas. They just started their second year of school there. And again, just in front of it, if Sid pans, I'm going to turn around a little bit. If you pan just over, well, we'll do it here in a second. But we're going to come into a neighborhood where now in here, you can find homes that are going to be in the 500s into the 600s and 700s, depending on how big they are. All right, so we found ourselves a nice little shady spot. And what we want to do is we wanted to pull into a neighborhood and give you an idea of what you can expect. So the house behind us is a house we helped a client buy 3 or 4 years ago. You can see right there. And Cindy, why don't you go ahead and tell a little bit about what they can expect for a house like that in this area?
For a house like this one particularly is a 4-bed, 2-bath, 3-car garage tandem. So it'll be 2 cars next to each other with a third that you pull up into the garage in. A lot of them are that way in this neighborhood. So this house particularly, if we were to put it on the market tomorrow, it would probably run in about the 630, 645 range for a 4-bed, 2-bath house.
And these are basically on lots that are like 0.15 to 0.2 acres. If you were to walk down this street, or if you pulled over here and showed a few of the houses behind us, depending on the size of those houses, you can still find stuff in here in the low to mid 500s, all the way kind of to the 700 to 800s. And these are Lennar built homes. Like I said, from the outside, you're gonna see a lot of homes that look relatively similar, but on the inside, you can usually tell right away, depending on who built them, between the cabinets and the flooring and just all the features and upgrades and stuff on there. But what I love about these homes is they're really easy, really no maintenance. So if you're a traveling person, you get around, there's not a whole lot to do as far as taking care of them goes. And so it's just easy maintenance. This is a house built in 2013 to give you a really good idea. And everything in this neighborhood, if you go down the street, there's 4 or 5 cul-de-sacs, and it's kind of a self-contained neighborhood as far as getting around goes. So, all right, so you can see on the day we recorded, it's a Tuesday, that's trash day in these particular neighborhoods down here. And you can see from the outside, relatively similar stucco, lots of what we always used to joking call beige on beige on beige. You will see a little bit of slight color alterations. Maybe some people will put some rock work in front of their house. But you can always tell in these neighborhoods how old or how new the neighborhood is in this whole South Meadows area based upon how big and tall the trees are. So obviously bigger, taller trees means the house has been here for a while, because most of the builders gave you, the front yard landscaping in a tree. And then as the neighborhoods, you'll see when we get to the double diamond side of this area, you'll see the trees will be even a little bit bigger, landscaping a little bit more bigger, and the homes will look a little older as far as they need probably a little more upkeep and a little more work. But as you drive through these neighborhoods, what's nice is, like I said, all these are just private back here. So these streets are all connected. So if you're not on one of these 4 or 5 streets, you're not going to actually be able to get back here. There'd be no reason to drive through here. So if you have small kids, or like, for example, here's a cul-de-sac, and if you're playing in those areas, you don't have to worry about too much traffic. It's just the people that live in here. So really kind of a nice, fun neighborhood. And Sid, what would you say, like when you're bringing clients back here, do you get clients that are looking in these areas a lot, and what are they usually kind of looking for?
I get quite a few. It's a very sought after area because it is so close to everything. It is close to grocery shopping. It's close to stores. It's close to the mall. It is close to getting up to Lake Tahoe. It's close to everything. And it's got a good school system down here. The neighborhoods are clean. They're a little bit newer. And people just want to be down here for the convenience of it all.
Right. And what would you say, like, I know for some people that maybe they're moving to our area and they're not quite ready to buy. As we've been driving around, it's one thing that is relatively new to these areas. What have we started to see a lot more of as far as apartments and things like that go?
We have a few new apartment buildings coming in. The Indigo, that is a little further south on Veterans, is I think the oldest apartment building down here in South Reno. The Integra Peaks apartments over on South Meadows Parkway are newly built within the last probably 2 or 3 years. Palomino apartment complex is right across the street, where the downtown Damonte is also getting constructed. Right. And there is also quite a few condo complexes in here as well. So if you're not looking to buy a house, there are plenty of rentals, or if you're looking for something a little smaller like a condo, there are a ton of different condo complexes down here as well.
Yeah, and whether there's like ones off of South Meadows Parkway, there's that you can find like 1 and 2 bedroom condos, or you can go into Florida Lee, which has condos that are much more expensive. It's just things we have to think about as far as the HOA fees, what the amenities are. So there's a lot more to it than just looking at the price points, because for some people, depending on what their lifestyle is, there's just a lot of different options as far as that stuff goes. So for example, those Palomino apartments, they are literally right across the street from great restaurants, shopping, grocery stores. You can literally walk right across. We're going to drive you by there here shortly so you can take a look and see what that's all about. But again, where we were, now we just kind of came down that 3/4 of a mile, and here we are with those houses up on the hill. We're right back by the high school. We have to drive slow through here shortly because the school year just started here in our area. And so you can see these are big, massive, open spaces and areas that if you're looking to get outside, or if you wanted to fly a kite or play with a Frisbee, you can literally do it right there on school grounds. but there's also parks and other amenities around here. All right, so technically now what we did is we wanted to show you how close there were so many amenities to the South Meadows and Double Diamond and Damonte, even though we're not in there anymore. So technically if you're on the freeway coming south, all that is on the west side. But if you're on the east side, literally either driving up or down South Virginia Street, where there's all kinds of car dealerships, there's a giant Walmart shopping center, there's all kinds of cool restaurants that we've talked about in the past, like South Creek Pizza, and some of my other favorites like Twisted Fork. But now we're just on the other side. So we're basically on the corner of South Virginia and Mount Rose Highway. And this is our Summit Sierra Mall. So if you're someone who's looking for all the kind of high-end things that you normally see, whether it's Lululemon or Dillard's, or we did a video with my buddy Diaz about Hammer and Nails back in the corner. There's this brand new X-Golf behind us. They just built a new Chipotle. But in this shopping center, we have all kinds of really cool restaurants, whether it is Land and Ocean, whether it's, what's the place you live over here, Sid?
Miguel's?
There's Miguel's Mexican food. There's BJ's. There's lots of cool stuff over here. And of course, for those of you that still actually go to the movie theater, we have a giant movie theater over here, still the Century Theaters. There's the bank over here like that I go to. But again, all the normal stuff that you see in these, mall sections, Verizon. The coolest thing now is I'm a big Trader Joe's guy, and there's gonna be a Trader Joe's that you're gonna see here in a minute up in the corner. It's not even open yet. And so again, I've seen these when I travel into other cities where they have these really cool outdoor malls that have all the cool shopping and all the cool stores that everybody's looking for. And again, it is literally just 5 minutes on the other side. As we get up to the top up here, again, some of these stores have changed over time. There's actually now a hotel on the left-hand side. So Sid, if you come to the other side, whoop, you have the movie theater back behind you. You have a hotel. I don't even know what the construction is going on behind us as far as all that stuff goes. But again, you're gonna see in a minute, there's apartments right up here again, as we've crossed over, and also Galena High School. So anyone who lives on this side of South Virginia, they go to Galena High School. And again, apartments, lots of construction, lots of cool things going on. So eventually this is gonna be a 4-way intersection that you can go straight through. Again, if we go right up Mount Rose Highway, you're now less than 20 minutes to the ski resorts. And honestly, I don't even 100% know all the things that are going in across the street here. I just know there's mass amounts of construction. They've been talking about this corner and this big lot for a long time, and you'll see everything that's going on over there. But if we go back out through the front, as you come down Mount Rose Highway, that is all your Double Diamond, Damonte, Curti Ranch in the distance. To the right a little bit, you're gonna see again, more complex apartment complexes that lead out that direction. So again, all these areas and all these neighborhoods, it's all relatively close together. And that's why I really, truly, honestly feel that this whole South Meadows area is one of the absolute most convenient, best places to live in all of Southern Reno. So when we briefly mentioned earlier about walking paths and walking trails, we wanted to give you kind of a quick idea of these wetland areas. We're standing on one of the nice bridges. And again, what happens is a lot of these houses, they back those trails, so you get really good views, no neighbor behind you. And so we wanted to show you, like these trails, we walk on these. Literally, we can be walking back to where we live here in about 20 minutes going that way, and you can go all over the place. So it's kind of nice if you're walking with kids, walking dogs, riding bikes, and you're not having to be on the main roads. It's kind of nice to have access to both of those things. But as Sydney's gonna show you here, out that direction is the west. And again, you're back towards Mount Rose Ski Resort, and you'll see these houses here that have these, split rail fencing. That's a must that you have to have on these so that they can keep it open to those trails. So if you're someone that wants a really private backyard, these may not be great for you, but if you want no neighbor behind you and really quick, easy access to these trails, it can be a really awesome setup for you guys. And again, it's all maintained. What's funny is when these wetland areas first were here and when people first started building these areas, people were worried about flooding or worried about houses sinking in soft soils. And in the 30 years of houses being built down here, that's a very low concern at this point. There's not something that happens very often. And so it's just one of those things where I think the original concerns were just one of those things that now they're not doing anymore. So people are really enjoying living down here, and you can see, again, in the distance, there's a big building down there. That's where the elementary school is, and it opens to these open common areas as well. And again, right up that mountain, you're right back at Mount Rose Ski Resort again. And so it's just a beautiful area. Like I said, we're out here on a nice summer day. It's not too hot out here. and you can really find what works for you in many different locations, price points, and again, super conveniently located. All right, so since we got Sydney on camera, I want to talk real quick about what are some of the favorite things, favorite parts about living in the South Meadows. I've lived on the south end of Reno now for a really long time, on both this side and on the other side of South Virginia Street. I know for me, the fact that it's super convenient, whether you have kids, you're doing kids' sports activities, place to eat. What are your favorite things about living in the South?
For me, it's just convenience. Walking trails is super nice. Live close to the office, so going to get to work and working out. We live close to everything. I mean, it's just nothing's very far away. It's a 5 to 7 minute drive pretty much anywhere you could ever want to go. And I know for me, my friends like to come down here because I live so close to Lake Tahoe. So in the summertime when we want to go up to the lake, we all meet at my house. So.
Well, and if we're making dinner and we need something real quick, it's really easy to get to the grocery store. It's just, like I said, everything about it, places to eat, and they keep expanding and bringing new things down here. So it always feels like this new stuff is going on. When we get more information about downtown Damonte and it starts to open up, we have more things going on over there. We'll do a video, let you know more about that as well. But if you're someone who's thinking about moving here and you have specific questions, not just about the South Meadows and Double Diamond Damonte, obviously we do videos about all things living in Northern Nevada, reach out to us. We're happy to help give you some more information, especially if you're someone that looks like wants more of a perspective of someone in their 50s versus maybe someone in their 20s. And again, I have other gals that work on my team. So if you're just trying to get a different perspective of things, we can answer any questions you may have, not just about this area, but all areas. So, we wanted to give you our best shot on what we thought about Double Diamond and Damonte. And of course, give us your feedback too on what you think about us getting out of the studio and running around and trying to do this literally on a gimbal with a mic on my neck. And again, we're realtors, we're real estate agents. My video guy probably thinks we're crazy because we're out there doing a lot of this stuff without him, and they're gonna edit and record it. So we did a few of these. We're really curious to get your guys' feedback and what you think about it, and we'll give them hell. And if you need anything, go find us, thelessingerteam.com. We're easy to find. We're happy to give you all the information you need. So let them know you see us next time. And if you go see a house, who's gonna show it to you?
That'd be me.
Yeah, awesome. Anyway, have a good one. Thanks for watching.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
So if you're enjoying the kind of content we're putting out there every week, check out this video we did about all the best places to eat in Northern Nevada and let us know what you think.